Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today is day 8 of my no spend and it's been a very interesting week. My mom left today and I've just been really focusing on, I guess, myself, my family, and my home, and just letting everything speak to me, if that doesn't sound too crazy. And for the last 2 days we've had the TV off for the most part. I watched a couple YouTube videos from people that I really enjoy watching this morning, but other than that I've had it off. Wyatt hasn't watched TV, and yesterday we had it off basically the whole day except for a little bit in the evening where Wyatt to unwind before bedtime, but other than that we've had the TV off. And really just like I mentioned on my thing, I'm disabling my Facebook and Instagram. I haven't been on there. I don't want to do any social media anymore. I'm just really want to focus on everything here and now. And it's really got me thinking about a lot of things and things that people have been asking me, not just people on YouTube, but people in my life, and and anyways, this video, I just wanted to, I guess, talk about some frugal tips on what I've seen and heard and in this past week that have made me come to some realizations dealing with my own mess, my own house, and not running just and not spending any money. So not spending money really does make you think about things. It really does. So first thing I have listed is don't do things to try and save money that end up costing you tons in the long run. For instance, if you are not a gardener, I know it's been one of my tips, and it's on pretty much every frugal list out there, is to grow your own food. But if you go out and spend all this money on seeds and soil and equipment and pots, and the list goes on and on and on. I never spent money on most of those things. I did it very cheaply. But it does get tempting because they have a lot of nice looking gardening things out there that they make you think you need. But anyways, this is just an example. Like, if you're not actually going to enjoy doing it and you're going to end up spending all this money on that, you're going to start a garden and then you're not going to keep up with the weeding and the watering and then the harvesting and preserving all of the food at the end of the season, then you've just out hundreds and hundreds of dollars and time that you've spent going out and getting all those things and starting your garden. And I know that this has happened to a few people. If it's not you, then just don't do it. Or maybe try with one pot and try growing like a cherry tomato plant and see how you even like it. Start small before you go off and spend all this money on things. I have in the past, like I said, I have an addictive personality, so if I see something that I think looks great, I want to throw everything I have into it, all my whole being into it. But I've learned to not do that, like when it comes to anything that costs money. If it doesn't cost money, then sure, go ahead. But things that cost you money, and be smart about what you can do. So if you know in your heart that you are not going to be a master baker or a master chef, don't go out and waste your money on all kinds of specialty ingredients and specialty gadgets and gizmos that you are never going to use. Just do very simple. And if you've tried to bake bread, if you've tried to, do all kinds of things and it just never comes out right, then it's okay to go and buy your bread. Try and do it in a way that is cheaper, but hold on a second. Sorry, there's just some notification bugging me. Just try and do it in a more frugal way. Buy clearance bread, or buy bread that's on sale. Buy the generic bread. Whatever, right? Just be smart about what you can do. Don't overcompensate. And even for me, I realized this year that gardening just wasn't going to be in my agenda or in my schedule. I wasn't going to have enough time to do it. And as much as I love gardening, I just had to accept that. I still have all my gardening tools and stuff, and I will do it again either next year or the year after, but I just don't have the time. And for me to go out and pretend that I do have the time and waste my time, because my time is money, and trying to get a whole garden started, and then not be able to preserve any of the food or keep up with the weeding and the watering, then that would just be silly of me to even attempt doing this year. The second thing I have is don't get rid of stuff just to go out and buy more stuff or replace it with more stuff. I'm pretty sure I've touched on this before, but I remember when my daughter was younger, she would say, start getting rid of all her dolls or something, and then be, well, why are you getting rid of this? You like this stuff. She's like, yeah, but I want this stuff instead. Like, she wanted to get different toys instead, or different dolls. Like, she would get rid of a whole bunch of dolls so that she could get newer dolls. And it's like, and we as adults do the same thing, right? We get rid of, older furniture to buy new furniture. We get rid of, I don't know, old cell phones just to buy a new cell phone when your perfectly good cell phone was perfectly good. We go and we're just always replacing things. And we really shouldn't do that. If you're going to get rid of stuff, then that space should stay free. It should be refilled. I know they say when you bring more stuff in, you should get rid of one of the same thing. So if you buy one shirt, get rid of a shirt kind of thing. But why are you getting rid of that shirt anyway? If it still fits and it still looks good on you, then why are you getting rid of it? And when you do, maybe it doesn't look good on you, or maybe you don't like it anymore. Maybe that just makes you think a little bit harder about what you're actually bringing into your house. Next one is don't run out of the house the instant you think that you need something, or don't buy something online just in a second you panic and you think, oh, I don't have anything. Like, I ran out of butter days ago, as you all know, but I have not gone out and bought any, and I haven't bought any meat like I said I might do, and I haven't done any of that. I've just been living off what we have. And when my mom came over, she brought a tub of like basil, olive stuff, and that is gonna work for right now. And I mean, like I said, I have enough meat to last us, and then when we leave, I don't want to come back to freezer full of meat that I bought before I left, just to find out that the power was out for 3 days and everything in my freezer is now rotten and gross. So just write down the things that you think you need in that instant, and just wait, just use what you have. I mean, I should have, like I said before, sorry, there's a fly. I should have used my coconut oil instead of using my butter up in those cookies, but at that point I wasn't really thinking straight. But there's almost always, let's say you run out of rice. Do you have potatoes? Do you have noodles? Do you have couscous or something else that you can use instead that is sitting in the back of your pantry that you haven't used that needs to get used? So just don't instantly think that you need something when most of the time you can find something you already have to use. Next one is don't try to save everything and clutter your house. I know I admitted to this one, but like I said, this past 8 days I've really been focusing on things more carefully. And, you know, I don't really need to save all of these things. If the things that I'm saving them for, I already have other things that I'm using for those purposes, then why am I saving more? Or, for instance, when I was making all that juice, I had a bunch of plastic bottles that I had a little bit saved, and some I had to scrounge out of my recycling. But then I ran out. But guess what else I had? A whole bunch of glass jars. So I ended up just using some glass jars to store my juice in the freezer. And as long as you don't fill them up all the way, they work just as good. And yeah, I don't need to store 100 plastic bottles. I don't need to store, 100 styrofoam trays. I keep a few that I will definitely use, and that is it. You don't need to save every toilet paper tube. I do like to, now that it's summer, I do burn all of my paper, cardboard, recycling. So I just, when we have fires outside, I just burn it all. But yeah, I've learned this the hard way. Don't clutter your house. It just makes you go a little bit insane every day, trying to find the things that you really need and want to use. So just be smart. Again, be smart. Make good decisions. If you really do need, a couple plastic bottles to reuse for water or something, then go ahead and keep them. And I do reuse my aluminum foil, and I do reuse baggies that come into my house, but I don't save every single one, right? And I don't save every bag of, from the cereal boxes, although I don't really buy that much cereal anymore. But yeah, you can't save everything. So as long as you bring less in, there is always going to be less going out. And the last tip that I have here is to figure out how low you can go. I did a whole video on this, but how low you can go, what you can comfortably live without, but not so much that you're completely and utterly deprived and absolutely miserable. Like, for instance, I do really enjoy a cup of tea. So I'm going to keep drinking my tea. And some people reuse their tea bags, and I have done this in the past, but I prefer a stronger cup of tea. So what I might do is, if I am feeling really frugal at the time, I will save up a few, and then I will just brew up like a bunch of used tea bags and make iced tea with it if I feel like doing that. But I don't do this every time, and I don't beat myself up for it. And then, I'm not going to turn off my hot water, and then, because, I do things when I have the opportunity, so I don't have the time to go downstairs, turn off the hot water, come back up, go back downstairs and turn it back on a half hour before I have a shower or something like that. So I'm not gonna, you know, torture myself with that. But, you know, I will live without going to the movie theaters every weekend. I will live without takeout for the most part. I will live without going to the mall. I will live without many things, but there are certain things that I still really enjoy that I'm going to keep on doing. And a lot of those things are very cheap or frugal, but that's just my decision, and I'm perfectly happy with those decisions. I've really just learned to simplify my life, and I think that going on a no spend really opens your eyes and you know, your hearts to what is really most important in your life. And sometimes spending money isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's better to have money saved up than having to owe all that money. There was something that I heard in the past few days that it's, what was the quote? I can't remember. Oh, goodness, this keeps happening to me. Something along the lines as it's cheaper to have money than it's cheaper to live with money than it is to live without money. So basically, if you're spending all your money and you're living paycheck to paycheck, your life is going to cost you way more than it would be for someone who doesn't spend as much money as you, because they will have money to pay for things in cash and upfront. They won't have to take out loans or use their credit cards and not be able to pay them off at the end of the month. So they're not going to be paying interest on things. They're not going to have to do rent to own things. They're not going, you know. So by not spending all your money, you will be able to do more things with your life. You'll be able to travel more if you like traveling. You will be able to, you know, go out to eat at nicer restaurants. So if you're spending money on eating at fast food restaurants every day or every other day, every week, every month, then it's more expensive than going out to eat to a nicer, more healthier place to eat once a month, right? I mean, wouldn't you rather have a really delicious meal cooked for you rather than eating McDonald's or other fast food restaurants every day? No, nothing against McDonald's. We do eat it sometimes, but I'm just saying, we don't eat it all the time. I'd rather save the $30 or more that it costs to go to McDonald's and save it up for a better meal that makes us not feel like, you know, slugs after. So these are all things that I have been thinking a lot about in the past few days. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this super long video it turned out to be, and I will see you in the next video. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you are having a frugabulous day. Until next time, bye!